Piers Morgan often hosts debates with famous personalities from all sides, especially on issues surrounding the Hamas-Israel conflict. He frequently tries to portray himself as a neutral middleman who gives a platform to voices supposedly ignored by the mainstream media. But in reality, he's only pretending to do so. In almost every debate and interview, he's consistently shown to be siding with Israel and the American camp, rather than maintaining neutrality. He's done it again in one of his latest panel debates on Piers Morgan Uncensored, featuring Professor Mohammed Marandi from Tehran University, journalist and anti-war activist Scott Horton, political commentator Ben Ferguson, and Iranian-American activist Elisa. Throughout the 1-hour-plus show, Professor Marandi was repeatedly censored, constantly talked over by Ben Ferguson, Elika, and Piers Morgan himself, making it nearly impossible for him to express his views fairly. I've shortened that debate video to expose once again the hypocrisy of Piers Morgan and the biased nature of his so-called uncensored platform.
To debate, I'm joined by Professor Mohammed Marandi from the University of Tehran, Scott Horton, the host of The Scott Horton Show, and Ben Ferguson, the co-host of Verdict with Ted Cruz. Welcome to all of you. Well, Professor Mohammed Marandi, welcome back to Uncensored. Well, what is your reaction to Donald Trump saying Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon? And if the talks aren't successful, I actually think it will be a very bad day for Iran.
Well, first of all, I have to correct something. And that footage that Trump tweeted was of a tribal gathering for the Eid. And he murdered innocent people.
For the first few minutes, they appeared to be patient. But soon, they made it almost impossible for the Iranian professor to speak. They repeatedly interrupted him under the guise of freedom, and at one point, even attempted to discredit him by dragging feminism into the discussion. As you'll see in the following scenes, they tried every possible tactic to distract and derail the professor, rather than engage with his arguments in good faith. Please continue watching the clip to see just how many times he was talked over and denied a fair chance to speak.
Then they attacked
Did you guys
Iran,
hold Americans hostage?
the United States, your regime.
It wasn't students. It was
beyond that.
which
it's
country
quite clear
chants death
that
to
if-
America? Your country.
Well,
Your country chants.
I really think you do have psychological problems. But if Piers, if you allow me, otherwise I don't know why I'm on this panel.
You guys
history
aid and
between
abet
Iran and the
mass
United
murder
States.
every day. Forget
Calm down.
America.
Seriously,
Will you
calm
stop
down.
supporting
It's
the
not
terrorist
working.
organizations?
Your government helped create
I actually
ISIS
feel
and
bad
Al-Qaeda,
for you.
Tulsi Gabbard.
It must be miserable.
Yes,
No,
you're
we're
right. Where
not.
people in your country are arrested
I'm
and
free, my
deported.
friend. It's not what you do.
If you don't want me to talk,
Let me ask you.
don't invite me.
No,
Well, Piers, you definitely don't want anyone from Iran to talk. That's obvious. You're just proving my point.
Listen.
You're
to me.
just proving my point.
Let me finish
I'm
my
not
sentence.
supposed to talk. You bring in guests
You just
after
asked your
guests. No, you don't let me talk. If I'm not
My
going to be
medication is free to-
interrupted, your problems
One example.
But if you knew Persian, all you
Piers,
have
do
to
you notice-
do, and you
Well,
can
then-
go
well, okay,
and
Professor,
watch me. You are
He
the
can't.
person.
He can't.
So you're not in a position to
Because he's not
condemn this Holocaust. And
Can't
I
answer it,
condemn
Piers.
what you want, and you can
He's a
convince
political
Christians.
Hold on. No. Well, I don't care if you were not done.
in Iran.
I
And it seems
did
to me,
not-
hang on.
I did not
Hang on.
interrupt
Hang
a
on.
single- I
Hang
did
on.
not-
And it
You're
seems,
afraid for
but
me
it's
to speak.
no.
Cannot
Piers,
sit where
you're
you're
not
because you
achieving
enjoy
anything
the
by this.
privilege.
You have
enjoy the
prevented
privilege
me
of
All
from
right, let-
being
speaking
political
all right, let's
prisoner.
allow-
from the very
All
beginning.
All right, Alec, don't talk over him. Let him respond.
So
Professor Marandi.
I'm glad that they've proven my point, and that was the objective all along. You have a token Iranian to
political prisoner?
pretend that you have an open debate, and then you bring in people one after another, and I have not interrupted a single person. I have not interrupted anyone.
That's also a lie.
But anyway, this has been going on for
Let me
decades.
ask you a question. Are you
The
saying that
Slaughter
Iran?
document of 2012,
Have you
and the
ever?
head of that agent, Al-Qaeda in Syria,
Dude,
and that they were
I've never
creating-
watched.
That aside,
Let me
Let
bring
me
in
ask you another
Scott.
question.
yes,
Let me
bring
ask
in
one other
Scott,
question.
because
Is there
this
any
guy really
terrorist? Is there
he
any
won't let me
terrorist
talk.
activity?
Listen, the fact of the matter is this
You know
guy
what,
is
Ben?
completely.
Ben. No,
If
no,
you
don't
go
interrupt.
and
You said
look
you don't
at the
interrupt.
Doc
You're the one
Thousand
interrupting
and
me, lady. What the
12,
hell?
Jekyll
Professor
Flynn
Marandi, you
on
are
Al Jazeera.
interrupting the female
Or
panelist.
interrupt it.
Here, can you notice that Piers Morgan was quick to invoke feminism, as if Professor Marandi was preventing the female panelist from speaking? Throughout the debate, Piers referred to her simply as Eleka, except during this so-called gotcha moment. You can see Piers was saying, You're interrupting the female panelist. This is one of the classic cheap tricks often employed by Islamophobes, using selective outrage and identity politics to discredit Muslim voices. If you watch the actual debate closely, the sequence is clear. Professor Morandi was speaking, then Scott Horton joined in, followed by Aleka interrupting Scott. Professor Morandi responded, at which point Piers chose to intervene, conveniently ignoring who started the interruption. You can even hear Scott pointing out that it was Aleka who interrupted first. But somehow, Piers could only see the poor female being interrupted. How convenient.
What I said was,
Back Hezbollah. Oh, for God's sake, man.
Against
I'm going to
who?
finish this. I swear to God. Well, I mean, Hezbollah
Okay,
didn't
Professor
even
Morandi,
exist.
maybe you can respond to that.
Nothing to say? No. I want this question.
his
from the
ghostwriter
person
didn't write that part of the book, apparently.
No. Tell me. Tell me.
Hezbollah came.
I'll answer the question for you if you can't answer.
Piers?
I'm perfectly
No,
willing to
no.
answer
I
the
can
question
answer.
here.
In this moment, you can clearly see Piers asking Professor Morandi to respond. Yet Aleka repeatedly interrupts, insists on who should speak, and dominates the debate. This clearly reveals what's really happening here beneath the surface.
Which was created in
But you got
1982.
blood on your hands.
Was
I agree.
rightly occupies
No,
parts
you just
of
support all the...
existed, and Israel existed. The resistance.
Terrorists.
The
How can
resistance
This is what
they be
terrorists
racist
sound like, guys.
people?
Can't
to get
answer
your
your question,
question.
Piers, because he'll be
But to get
disappeared
your
if he answers your question.
Iranians have a right to a peaceful
No, we'll
nuclear
win.
program. The Iranian state
You're not a
behaves
peaceful country.
rationally, and not like these two
You're a
guests of
terrorist
yours. It's
organization.
united by the agreement.
And then you
Obama
supported
violated
more
the
terrorism,
agreement.
which is
Hey,
stupid
man, why don't
from
you just
Obama.
wait?
The Iranians
Why don't you just wait till
abided
your
by the
turn?
nuclear deal. The Iranians abided by the nuclear deal. Obama
No, they
violated
didn't.
it. Then
They
Trump Pierce.
We
Even
tore it up
after
because it was
Trump
a worthless-
corrupted, even after, calm down. So 2 years after
Piers, if
Trump
you wanna know why
imposed
Cheat nukes unless we
I wanna
attack
be
them
respectful,
first,
but I
and they
wanna
feel
jump
like
in
they
here.
have to resort to it. Hey, there's no need to interrupt me. I'm willing to
Piers,
listen.
hold on,
no,
the
let me
question
finish
I
it.
asked.
No,
Hold
come on, man.
But you're taking
You
me out of
got to
context.
go on and on. I'll
I
be
said,
quiet
no,
when
hold
I'm
on.
done.
Hold on.
Let Piers, make him
You're
stop,
taking
man.
what I
What
said
the
out of
hell?
context.
Piers,
So
make him
I'm gonna
stop.
finish.
trying to
What I
finish here.
said was,
This is
are
ridiculous.
you telling me?
Jesus.
Go on
Say,
then, Scott.
he-
Quickly.
The professor is
Very
correct.
quickly.
They mastered the
Leon
fuel
Panetta
cycle,
just said it.
and we can normalize relations with Iran. It doesn't mean it's
Why would
not
you
a
want to
tyranny. But that
normalize
means,
with-
He's a lefty. I great
He's a
as a
lefty.
conservative. And
Hey,
I don't want
I
to be a
guess I'm a
conservative
Sunni and a
anymore.
Shiite too.
As you can see, it wasn't just Professor Morandi who was constantly interrupted. Even the anti-war activist and a conservative, Scott Horton, was viciously talked over to the point where he was practically begging Piers to stop the interruptions. I hope this video clip has exposed the real Piers Morgan for who he is. It certainly doesn't seem uncensored. If anything, it looks more like Piers Morgan censored. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and don't forget to share it with others who need to see the truth.